Hi there, it is day 63 of Drop'em 78, and this is the love card from Dame Fortune's Wheel Tarot. Early Italian depictions of this card kept it to two figures, a pair of lovers being aimed at by Eros or Cupid. Later cards show three figures, and the quality of some of the mass-produced decks made it unclear who those figures might be. Some of them were more clearly a clergy person marrying a couple, and others appear to be a lover standing between two women, possibly, and the identity of those two women is often up for debate. Hewson talks throughout his book about Erhard Schun's illustrations for the different astrological houses, and this image seems to be based on Schun's image for the seventh house of marriage. The old Balinese tradition or interpretation for this deck or card was love, and Cor de Gebelin's interpretation is marriage. But de Mellet saw this card as Hercules choosing between vice and virtue, which was a common allegory depicted in Renaissance art. He seems to be the first to introduce this card as a choice in 1781, at least in writing. But it's up for debate if these represent vice and virtue or another concept. I tend to see the person on the left as a concept of a higher obligation, queen and country, or an education, and the person on the right representing the person in the middle's more personal goals or his heart's desire. But either way, as de Mellet says, he could be wrestling with a trial of moral strength. Hewson has chosen to blindfold Eros, as in the Type 1 TDM, and other popular depictions of him. Interestingly, he was said not only to have gold-tipped arrows, which would cause the target to fall in love, but also lead-tipped arrows, which would cause that person to recoil in loathing. Now, with the interpretation of a partnership, Hewson notes that it can be any type of union, a marriage, contract, lawsuit, an open enemy, or dealings with the public generally. It can also be infatuation or a difficult choice. He says reversed that it can be a destructive partnership, the end of a relationship or partnership, and no more choice. My detail is that he's chosen a rose here, which Hewson has shown in other cards to represent love, romantic love, whereas he has used lilies to show marriage or committed love. So I think it's interesting that he chose the rose here, but probably due to the presence of Eros, who is Venus's son, and this represents her. Or Aphrodite, rather, if we're sticking to Greek names. I entered into somewhat of a contract today, having some folks come over and install my new heater. So I ended up paying a lot of money, but I was not sad about that at all after dealing with space heaters in the cold for the last several days. Alrighty, I'll see you again tomorrow.